Hi everyone, welcome back to the Paper and Ink Boutique here on YouTube. It's Mari Clark here, and I have another card making process for you today. I'm going to be making a card using some PaperArtsy products in my stash, and I'm really happy with how this turned out. I was totally inspired by Tracy Scott, who is just absolutely brilliant. I love this stamp set number 102, and I also really love this ALISON Balmer stamp set that you can see here on the right. And so I'm going to be coordinating and combining a bunch of different stamps from my stash, including this mini. This is mini 35. That ALISON Balmer is EAB 53. Just so many gorgeous PaperArtsy stamps. They're red rubber stamps, so they stamp out just absolutely beautifully. So I've got my SIZZIX stamping platform on my desk here, and I'm going to put the stamps onto the window of the platform, and I'm going to stamp onto some white cardstock. This is a 100-pound white cardstock. I'm going to ink those stamps up with some VERSAMARK clear sticky ink. This is really great for heat embossing, and that's what I wanted to do with these images. So I'm just going to go ahead and give those a good press, and now I'm going to take some gold embossing powder and just put that over top of those clear stamped images on my white cardstock. And so that gold embossing powder is going to stick to that clear embossing powder and or that clear embossing ink. And now I'm just going to go ahead and heat that up and melt that with my heat tool so that that just gets really nice and shiny. And I'll give that a second to cool off, and then I'm going to do some ink blending. I do apologize for my voice today. I have been struggling with a pretty bad cold. I'm hoping that I'm not going to have a coughing fit, so I may have to stop the voiceover and start it again here. Hopefully not. Now, I'm taking a bunch of Distress Oxide inks. I believe this one is Uncharted Mariner, and I'm just going to go ahead and blend some ink over top of this heat embossing. And the great thing about the heat embossing is that it resists ink or other mediums, so that it is a resist, and you can do resist type techniques with it. So I'm just going over the whole image here, or these images, with this gorgeous Uncharted Mariner, which is just such a beautiful, like, navy teal. Not really sure what this color wants to be, but it is my favorite. So I love that color so much. And I believe this one is chipped sapphire, possibly. You should be able to see the colors that I'm using there on the screen. And this is just another really, really beautiful deep blue. I think this is chipped sapphire, but you should be able to see that. Now I'm just blending on the edges. So just going around the edges with that darker color. And then now I'm going around the edges with the black soot. So every color, my base color was the Uncharted Mariner over the whole thing, darkest around the edges and lighter in the middle. And then just a little bit around the edges with that dark blue, and then a little bit with the black, so that we just get that really dramatic blue look with the dark edging. And I just went over my embossing with a clean paper towel and wiped the ink off of that gold embossing so that the gold embossing is nice and shiny and pretty. This is a die from Spellbinders. I will list all of the products that I've used in the description box below. I really love this die set because it doesn't just have square rectangles. It has rectangles that have this really cool edging, and I wanted to finish my card off with that, my front panel for my card. Now, I have put some watercolor paper onto my into my SIZZIX tool here, and I'm going to stamp out with VERSAFINE Nocturne ink. I'm going to stamp these images out with this really nice black slow drying pigment ink. This is just a beautiful crisp ink. It stamps so nicely, and it dries slowly, so that if you want, you can add some embossing powder over top of that and it will stick. And I love that about this ink, because it just makes your ink really nice and dark and shiny and dimensional. And it also allows, again, a resist. It allows you to do some other techniques over top if you choose to. I didn't do that with these ones, but I often do. So I'm taking my heat tool now and I'm melting the image, the embossing powder over the images. And I just have these gorgeous images to work with. And this is that TRACY Scott stamp that I talked about at the beginning. So gorgeous. Now I'm going to fussy cut these out with my RECOIL scissors from HOLTZ and TONIC. I really love these. They're really great for fussy cutting. They have just a really nice pointy tip on them. They're super sharp. They work really well for fussy cutting. So I'm going to fussy cut out all of these images. I'm going to go around the edges of all of the images with a black marker just to make sure that the edge is black and not white, and I'll set those aside. Now I'm ready to start to assemble my card. I am going to just take my MISTI glue press here, which is a wonderful tool for obviously liquid glue. And I'm just going to go ahead and add my card front onto a top folding A2 size white card base. And so I'll just go ahead and glue that on. I'll give it a really nice press so that it is very well adhered. And I'll be ready to add the details to the top. So just really want to make sure that's well adhered on there in all of the different little areas around the edges. Now, what I love about this white is it just pops so beautifully. I don't know if you saw Tracy Scott doing a demonstration over on the PaperArtsy People site this week, but she did this stunning journal page of the die cuts, or the fussy cut pieces were white like this, stamped in black, and then she had a black background. I was really inspired by that. I love that. This is a brand new release from Elizabeth Crafts, and I love this foliage. It is gorgeous, and I wanted to use these fern leaves behind my TRACY fussy cut piece. So I'm going to add that circle piece with a piece of foam adhesive. And now I'm just going to take some contour from Stamperia. This is the gold contour. I'm going to add 3 little gold dots to the center of this beautiful floral, whatever you want to call it. It's kind of like, I don't know what this is. It's kind of like sort of like a poinsettia, but not really. Whatever it is, I love it. It's so beautiful. And now I'm just going to trim off. I'm going to give these ferns a little bit of a haircut, and I'm going to add those in on either side of my floral piece here. And just give those a little bit of glue on the ends. I didn't want to adhere all of the edges of the fern down. Just at the very tip where I'm going to glue it in against the flower is where it's going to be attached. And in that way, I can kind of fluff up the leaves of the fern and give it a little bit more dimension in that way. Now I'm just going to take some white paint. This is just some white acrylic paint. You can use gouache or your Spellbinders splatter white, or whatever you like to splatter with. And I'm going to go over the whole card front with this white splatter. It's just going to add a really nice final touch to my project. And friends, that's going to be it for my card today. I hope you enjoyed this. I did list, like I said, all of the products from the Paper and Ink Boutique in the description box below, so make sure you check that out. You can shop online or in store for any of the products that I've used here today. And I hope you enjoyed and were inspired to use your PaperArtsy products. Thank you so much, friends. I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.